Hello future CA, welcome back to my channel again. If you are preparing for the CA Inter Strategic Management, you might feel that the subject is easy because it's theory. But surprisingly, many of you lose marks. Not because you don't study, because you make certain common errors in preparation and exam writing. So in today's video, I'll discuss 14 commonly committed errors in strategic management subject, and more importantly, how you can avoid them to improve your scores significantly. So make sure you watch the video till the end, because the last few points can make a huge difference in your exam performance. So let's get started. If you are new to my channel, please subscribe for more CA exam related guidance, strategies and tips. Also guys, if you are looking for a strategic and structured study and revision planners, I have prepared a couple of them. So as you can see on the screen, there is a 90-day study and revision planner for CA Inter both groups. And there is a 50-day revision planner, and there is also 44-day revision planner for CA Inter both groups. So these revision planner will help you achieve the complete syllabus coverage, balanced preparation between all the subjects, daily subject-wise timetable, smart revision cycles, smart rotation between all the subjects, dedicated practice plus MTP analysis slots, proper time allocation for theory and practical subjects, reduce last minute stress, clear daily targets to avoid procrastination. So basically this planner will help you to complete the revision planning, including daily subject-wise slots, plus smart rotation between all the subjects to maximize score. And it includes dedicated MCQ practice slots to improve speed and accuracy. Plus it contains MTP practice plus analysis slots and MTP error tracking and correction slots plus RTP practice slots. So this is not just a timetable, it's a strategic revision system that prioritizes on high weightage topic, ensures timely revision, includes mock test integration, maintains realistic achievable daily slots, and prevents burnout through structured flow. So consistency plus structure leads to exemption level preparation. So if you are also looking to make your preparation stress-free, you can check out the study and revision planners. The link of these has been given in the description below. And you can select any one of them based on the number of days left for your examination. So the first commonly committed error is mugging up the concepts. So most of the time students treat this strategic management like a memorization subject. And many of them simply memorize definition and strategic models without understanding the logic behind it. So instead of rote learning, you should focus on conceptual clarity. Understand why behind every model and strategy. And you should also try to use real-life business examples to understand application of every model and concept. So remember, strategic management is not about remembering words or rote learning, but it's about understanding how businesses make strategic decisions. So in the final level, you have a subject called IBS. So in that also many strategic models are there. So from now itself, instead of rote learning, you should try to understand the concepts and model. And you should try to understand how in real life scenarios these are applicable. The next commonly committed error is ignoring practice of case scenario MCQs and case scenario booklet. So many students read the theory repeatedly, but avoid solving case scenario. So you should regularly practice the integrated case scenario MCQ. So the ICA has released the case scenario booklet for this. So this is very important. Please go through all the case scenarios in this booklet. And apart from this, you can also solve the MCQs from the MCQ portal. Then go through the RTPs and mock test papers as well, because this will develop your analytical and application skills, which are essential for scoring well in this subject. The third commonly committed error noticed was ineffective time management or overthinking during the exam. So most of the times it was noticed that many students spend excessive time on difficult questions As a result of this, they struggle to complete the paper on time. So to avoid this, there are 4 tips. First, follow a time-bound approach. Next, if you are stuck in a question, move ahead. Don't be stuck in that same question. Leave some space for that and go to the next question. And later on, come back and attempt that question later. And tip number 3 is attempt the easier questions first. And the 4th tip is keep at least 10 minutes at the end for revision. Remember, completing the paper is often more important than writing the perfect answer to one question. So here basically most important thing is don't be stuck at one question itself. If you don't know the answer to any particular question or sub-question, leave one page and then move ahead and complete the entire paper, and then later on come back and you can answer this. Because if you are stuck in one question itself and if you spend more time on that, you won't be able to complete the entire paper. The 4th commonly committed error is unstructured and lengthy answer. So most of the time students write everything that they know. So actually if you write long answers, it doesn't mean you'll score more marks. That is not true. Instead, answer exactly what is asked in the question. Use heading and bullet points. Keep your language concise and structured. So for case scenario based descriptive question, it is better to follow the STAR approach. So let's go ahead and see what is the STAR approach. You can get a notebook and note this down. So STAR approach means S is for situation, T is for task, A is for action and R is for result. So let's try to understand each one of this step by step now. So first is situation. So once you read the case study, first identify and briefly explain the situation given in the case study. So ask yourself what is happening in this case. For example, if a company is facing declining market share due to increasing competition from a new entrant, you can note this down. So this is the situation. Next, step number 2 is task. So next, identify the key challenge or objective that the organization needs to address. So ask what problem needs to be solved here. So in this case, the example which you have taken at hand, the problem that the management needs to solve here is the management needs to regain the market share and strengthen its competitive position. Now step number 3 is action. So now apply the strategic management concept, model or framework to suggest what should be done. So ask yourself, what strategic action should the company take? So in the current case, to regain the market share, the company can adopt a differentiation strategy by introducing innovative features and improving customer experience. Now the last step, that is the result. So finally explain the expected outcome of the recommended action. So ask yourself, what benefit will the company achieve? So by adopting a differentiation strategy, this will help the company to enhance customer loyalty, create a competitive advantage and improve market share over the long term. So this way you have to follow the STAR approach and answer the case scenario based question. So well structured answer creates a better impression and it's also easier for the evaluator to assess your answer. Now the error number 5 is lack of comprehensive practice and revision. So it was noticed that some students spend all their time reading but very little time practicing. A good strategy is to dedicate at least 30 to 40% of your preparation time to practice. So practice using the MCQ portal, case scenario booklet, RTPs, MTP, previous year suggested answer. So in this strategic management, all the chapters carry equal weightage. So don't do selective preparation, study all the chapters. So the 6th commonly committed error noticed was inadequate use of strategic models. So many times it was noticed in the answer sheet that the students would have mentioned the model name like SWOT analysis, BCG matrix, Porter's 5 forces model, but they have failed to apply them. They just mentioned the name. So merely writing the model name is not enough. As I mentioned earlier, you must apply the model to the given case, explain its relevance and demonstrate how it will help in decision making. So application fetches you the marks, not just naming the framework. That's why I mentioned earlier, don't do rote learning, try to understand the concepts and try to apply it in different case scenarios. The seventh commonly committed error was missing keywords in descriptive answers. So one of the biggest scoring factors in strategic management is use of keywords. So examiners are trained to look for specific terminology. Therefore, use appropriate strategic terms. Use relevant keywords from the ICI material. Avoid writing answers in casual language. So it doesn't mean you have to by heart everything and copy paste everything, but certain keywords will be there in every strategic model or concept. So you have to mention that. The right keywords immediately signal subject knowledge to the evaluator. Hence, it will lead to significant increase in your marks. The eighth commonly committed error noticed was caring too much about chapter-wise weightages. So many students keep on thinking which chapter is most important. So weightage is useful for planning, but it should never be the basis for skipping chapter, especially in strategic management, because every chapter in this subject has been allocated equal weightage. So questions can appear from any topic. Therefore, cover the entire syllabus, prepare holistically, and avoid taking chances. Don't miss any chapter. The ninth commonly committed error noticed was not reading the entire question carefully. So most of the times, students often misunderstand the question and start writing the answers fast. So before answering, identify what the question requires and answer as per the requirement of the question. Check whether the question is asking for concept explanation, or if it's asking for analysis, or if it is asking for application. Because in case the question is asking for analysis, but you just explain the concept, you will not fetch marks. Even if you have written the correct answer, but if the requirement of the question is something else, you will still lose marks. Suppose the question is asking definition of something, but you are giving analysis. So that time it will not be correct. So you will not get marks for that. So take a couple of seconds to understand what exactly is being asked in the question and then only start answering. Read the question with open mind. Sometimes it's possible that similar question as what is given in your study material or MTP or RTP might come. Like similar case scenario might come, but the question might be something else. Like in the MTP, if they have asked to explain the concept, in the exam they might give the same case study but ask for application. So that time you have to write the different answer based on the requirement of the question. So the 10th commonly committed error noticed was lack of real life example. So strategic management becomes much easier when you connect it to real businesses. So there are various examples around us. So it is recommended to read business newspapers and observe mergers and acquisition, expansion strategies, market entry decision, competitive moves, etc. These examples strengthen your understanding and it will also improve your answer quality. The 11th commonly committed error noticed was ignoring ICI suggested answer. So it was noticed that ICI suggested answer is probably one of the most underutilized resources. ICI suggested answers show how the answer structure should be, which keywords are expected to be written in the answer, the depth required in the exam. So reviewing suggested answer helps align your writing style with evaluator's expectation. And also in most of the suggested answer, examiner comments are also available. Please go through that also. For the previous year paper, you can see the examiner comments. In that question by question, comments will be there as to for each answer what error were committed by the students. So that will also help you to get an overview as to what errors are usually made in the exam and how you can avoid them. The 12th commonly committed error noticed was getting stuck on a difficult question. So as I mentioned earlier, if the question is taking long time than expected, if it's difficult or if you don't remember the answer, leave space for that and move ahead and you can return later on. So smart time allocation is critical. So actually this point we have discussed earlier. The 13th commonly committed error noticed was overuse or incorrect use of diagrams. So some students believe adding diagrams everywhere will increase marks. However, unnecessary diagrams can consume your valuable time. So only if genuinely diagrams are required, as per the strategic models or concept, only that time you have to use the diagrams. And only that time it will add value to your answers. So your primary focus should be on clear explanation, writing relevant points, and writing answer in proper structure as we discussed above. That is the STAR approach. So be specific and less creative because examiners reward content and not artwork. The 14th commonly committed error noticed was lack of revision before the exam. So inadequate revision. So many times students study well but they fail to revise effectively. When you are studying itself, it's better to prepare summary notes, flashcards or mind maps of important concepts so that you can revise all of these. And based on the past exam trends, see which topics have come most of the times and try to revise those concepts and revise mock test paper, RTPs, revise previous year papers. And also ICI has released the Saransh also for quick revision. So you can use this also. But ensure you have studied everything once. Don't just revise one day before the exam. Because sometimes it happens that students read the entire chapters the last minute. Don't do that. Complete the first 2 rounds of study earlier itself and then only keep revision for 1.5 days before the exam. So revision should be quick, focused and strategic. So these were the 14 most commonly committed mistakes in the CA Inter strategic management exams. So if you avoid these errors and focus on conceptual clarity, practice, application, use of keywords and proper answer writing, your chances of scoring marks will increase significantly. So if you found this video helpful, please like the video. Share it with your friends preparing for the CA Inter exam and subscribe to the channel for more CA exam guidance and study strategies. All the best for your CA Inter preparation. Thank you for watching the video and I will see you all in the next video.